All right, and we are live. Thank you, everyone, for attending Connecting to Chicago series. My name is Corey Barnes, and I will be your host today. I work out of the Office of Multicultural Student Success, and I have the honor and privilege of interviewing Coach Bruno today. All right, Coach Bruno, it's so exciting and so happy to have you here today. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved with DePaul?
Corey, my mom and dad dropped me off at DePaul in 1968 to attend school. I played for Coach Ray Meyer. I was honored to have a scholarship. Coach Ray was my coach. Joey Meyer, his son, was my teammate. And my parents dropped me off in Lincoln Park in 1968 from the south side of Chicago, and I've never gone back.
Okay, wow. Okay, that's some time. All right. When did you first decide to work in your industry, and do you care to share your industry that you work in?
Well, I was an English major here. Dr. Patricia Ewers, who was one of the great English teachers. She also became the vice president of faculties here at DePaul, the president of Pace University, was a great teacher and mentor. And I knew I had great coaches my whole life. Coach Frank McGrath was an assistant coach here. Dr. Ewers, she was an English teacher, but she was a coach to me. Coach Ray Meyer. I just was blessed with coaches. Coach Dick Flays, my high school coach. So I knew I wanted to either write and be a sports writer or be a coach. And, I got called by Francis Parker High School, which is right down the street on Belden Avenue here in Lincoln Park, Clark and Belden, Clark and Webster. And I was asked to be an assistant men's coach, a boys coach. And I went down, I interviewed and got the job. And the second I got the job, it wasn't 10 minutes later, I got a phone call from the Chicago Daily News asking if I would like to come on as a copy boy and a stringer. This was before computers, and work in their sports department writing. And I told Tim Weigel, who was the guy that called me, a famous sports writer and TV journalist here in Chicago, he asked me if I could come work for the Daily News. I said, Tim, I can't come right now. I got a team. I can't leave my team. I just signed up to have a team. So maybe after the season, I'll give you a call back. And that was my first team, Francis Parker, boys high school. And I never looked back from being a coach from that moment.
Okay. All right. And how'd you come to be a coach at DePaul? What was that kind of experience?
Well, once again, I played at DePaul and I came back to become an assistant. I coached 2 years of high school boys basketball in the Chicagoland area, and then was hired to become an assistant athletic director here under Gene Sullivan. Sullivan Athletic Center was named after Gene Sullivan. He was the athletic director back in 1976, 77. He was looking for an assistant athletic director, and he hired me to be the facilities director, business manager, ticket manager. So I really was blessed to have a parochial administrative job in athletics where I learned the field of athletics from the ground up, working in facilities, working in ticket management, working in business, working in equipment. And he asked me that one day that he was looking for a women's basketball coach. He just said, you've got coaching background, go coach the women here today. And I went down on the floor for the first time and coached the women at DePaul in the 77, 78 seasons, 2 seasons. Then I went on to become the head coach of the Chicago Hustle, a professional team, women's team here in Chicago from 79 and 80. Then went on and became the men's associate head coach at Loyola Chicago for 8 years under Gene Sullivan. So again, back to having had great coaches around me to mentor me. And then Coach Sullivan was a great mentor, as was Ray Meyer, as was Frank McGrath. And then Jeannie Lenti-Ponsetto, who was on that first team, one of the best captains I've ever had. She was on that first team I coached, and she called me and asked me if I wanted to come back and be the head women's coach at DePaul a second time. This was in the summer of 88. I came back for the 88-89 season. That was 33 years ago, and now I'm starting my 34th season. I'll be starting my 35th season here at DePaul next year.
Wow, congratulations. That's amazing. So you've had some very rich experiences. Can you share what are some things about your experience that are distinctly Chicago?
Well, sweet home Chicago. I mean, I was blessed to go to school on the south side of Chicago at 79th and Western, a great school called Quigley South. And again, so I got to grow up on the south side and learn, what South Side parishes were all about, South Side neighborhoods in this tough day of social change. You know, Father Flager, who works at St. Sabina, was a class above me. You know, Cardinal Gregory, who is the Cardinal Archbishop, he runs the Archdiocese of Washington, D.C., was a class above me. And Jerry Listecki, the Cardinal Listecki up in Milwaukee, these are people I went to high school with. But to grow up on the South Side and to watch some of the racial aspects of being on the South Side of Chicago, I had great Black teammates that came from Black neighborhoods on the South Side. Chicago is a very segregated neighborhood and a town, Chicago. And we white guys lived in the white neighborhoods. Our African-American teammates lived in the Black neighborhoods, but we got together through sports, through Quigley South at 79th and Western, watch neighborhoods changing because of redlining, because of real estate inequities in the city of Chicago. And so I got to grow up in that time and place and space when Dr. King marched in Marquette Park. You know, I was a high school student when he did that. And you know, the Marquette Park is right around the corner from where I went to high school. And then when he died and the city erupted when Dr. King was murdered, you know, so much has changed, but so much has still remained the same. So those are some of my experiences. At DePaul as a freshman, some of my Black teammates at DePaul are part of the group that took over the administration building. The Black Student Union took over the administration building in the springtime of 1969. And, you know, I mean, some of the changes that they demanded were a Black studies curriculum. A great teacher was hired here by the name of Dr. Ben Richardson. I mean, he's a historical Black teacher here in history and religion. And so to be part of that and watch that take place, I mean, it's just amazing to see how far we've come and see how far we still have to go.
Absolutely. And thank you for sharing that. I mean, some of the stories resonate with me because I'm from Chicago as well. I'm on the South Side. I'm a West Side transplant. But to hear the stories you shared about MLK walking in Marquette Park, my grandmother has shared that story with me. So to hear that,
so I'm old enough to be your grandfather, Corey. Where did you live? I mean, where on the South Side do you live?
I live in South Shore now, but I lived in Hyde Park for a little while. But I'm from Austin on the west side of Chicago.
So you came from the west side, now transplanted down to the south side. And I mean, just to relate this, I mean, South Shore, Rainbow Beach was an absolute great park beach for South Side guys, both Black and white, to play basketball on the Rainbow Beach playground. So we literally would hitchhike from 79th and Western all the way over to the lakefront, through Englewood, through Gresham, through Englewood, you know, through Grand Crossing, into the South Shore neighborhood, and play basketball, Black and white high school kids together on the Rainbow Beach playground. So I mean, it's just you know, it's just it really is a great city, and we've just got to get it together a lot better than we've gotten it together most recently.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely agree with that. So for students, how can they connect with your experience that you shared, either in a virtual environment, which we understand is kind of the situation now, or when the quarantine ends? What are some things they can kind of look for? Where are some landmarks or things you recommend?
Well, it took me about a month and a half after I arrived at DePaul in '68 to figure it out. You know, when I first got here, Lincoln Park at the time was a very, very different neighborhood. It was a very ethnic neighborhood. There was Irish, there was German, there was Italian. Cabrini Green housed 25,000 Black public housing, you know, families and people just a mile and a half south of here. There was a heavy Latinx neighborhood. I mean, Mexican people lived here in this neighborhood. So it was a melting pot neighborhood when I came here. And then by the time we graduated, it started to gentrify and become the changes that have gentrified into the Lincoln Park we know today. But back as a freshman, at first I just didn't get it. I had all my friends going to these campus schools, and I was kind of inwardly jealous that they had these beautiful campuses. Then all of a sudden, at Christmas break, all my friends came home from their campuses, and they were all over me to take them to Second City in Old Town, right down the street, or take them to Lincoln Avenue here to some of the great live music that was happening on on Lincoln Avenue, right here in Lincoln Park. So all my friends come home from these campus schools, and what are they thirsting for, hungering for? Everything that I was just getting my head wrapped around as a young freshman. And as I started to realize that the city of Chicago is our campus. Yes, DePaul students will live in the Lincoln Park community, but once you figure out that this whole city is yours for the taking, for the embracing, some people come to Lincoln Park Zoo because it's a big day outing when we could do a jog through the park down to the lake and cool down through by watching the lions and the orangutans, and then walk through the zoo, and then just walk through it as a free public park. It's just, there's just so much to do here in the DePaul community. And I just encourage the young students to just embrace all these different aspects, from great food to great live entertainment, music-wise, to plays, to shows. There's just so much to do.
Yeah, thank you for that. And you kind of touched on it already, speaking to your experience, but what's a piece of advice you would have for DePaul students that are first moving to Chicago? You kind of talked about your experience and how you had to get adjusted as a freshman back in '68, if I'm correct. So what about students who are moving for the first time? What are some things that some nuggets of advice you would give them?
Well, I mean, I think explore. I mean, recruiting the whole city of Chicago. One of the beauties of my job of recruiting is I get to explore all the neighborhoods in Chicago. But to be a walker through Lincoln Park, be a divvy bike rider through Lincoln Park, and walk the neighborhoods. It's just amazing how unique every different couple blocks can be. And just the Chicago fire, part of the history of this great city was that it was the tragedy of the fire in 1871. I think I got my date right, Corey. But the tragedy of that fire, it burnt our city to the ground. But the blessing of the fire was that the city got to rebuild. And so we have great neighborhoods to walk through, whether you walk west to Bucktown, whether you walk to the lake through Lincoln Park, whether you walk south and into, I walk downtown from here. I live in Rogers Park, and I walk through Lakeview, through Uptown. So, I mean, just to walk up into the Uptown neighborhood, and again, the Greenbelt, the Admiral, the different music venues that are everywhere in Chicago. I mean, I just would ask our young people coming to Chicago to try to relish these opportunities, to take advantage of these opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. Chicago is very walkable neighborhoods, especially Lincoln Park. Definitely enjoy, during my lunch break, just kind of walking around and seeing the wonders of DePaul. It never gets old.
Hop on the train system.
Yeah.
I was blessed to be able to coach our United States Olympic team in London, and everybody talks about the Tube in London. The Tube. And the Tube's it's great public transportation in London. And it's not quite fair yet to say that the public transportation in Chicago, exactly lines up with the Tube in London, but you do have some great opportunities on. You have the Red Line right here, you have the Brown Line right here, and you can hop on those lines and connect to the different areas in Chicago and be willing to be open to explore. I think the exploration aspect of living in Lincoln Park in Chicago is something that's what my high school friends were all looking for when they're coming home from their campus neighborhoods. They're stuck on campus. They get tired of that campus after 6 football games.
Yeah, absolutely. Chicago has it's a very diverse city. And I've discovered the food in Chicago is amazing. What are some maybe recommendations for folks who are new to Chicago or may not know? What are some of your favorite places to dine?
Well, I think you got to experience a Chicago beef sandwich. I think you got to understand what that means. You have to understand what a Chicago hot dog is, and if you put ketchup on your hot dog, don't put ketchup on your hot dog. But that's I mean, I happen to have my mask here, my Billy Blue Demon mask, and there used to be a place called Demon Dogs under the L, and now it's called, there's a place called Devil Dogs around the corner. So you can just get your Chicago hot dog and you can get a Chicago beef sandwich. I mean, I think I'd start with those Chicago classics for starters. Italian lemonade. I mean, find yourself some good Italian lemonade here in the neighborhood, and then there's some great Mexican restaurants. I mean, there's great not just Mexican, but there's great ethnic restaurants everywhere throughout the city of Chicago. So, I mean, and they're small. You know, they're small. They're intimate, and explore those small restaurant choices.
Okay.
I didn't even mention pizza, but I mean,
Yeah.
And I'm a thin crust guy.
Okay.
I personally love thin crust, but we're known for our thick crust and our deep dish. But I still love the thin crust pizzas here in Chicago also.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I don't know. I like Giordano's. That's definitely a classic choice. But Italian Fiesta thin crust is pretty good as well on the south side. So I agree with that for sure. So for students, I don't know, students who are, coming to campus and looking for some fun things to kind of get into. I know we kind of talked about exploring and some eateries. What are some like entertainment options that students can kind of look forward to, either in Lincoln Park or just in Chicago in general?
Well, you got live blues. I mean, you got Kingston Mines right here at Blues on Halsted Street, which is right around the corner. So you can walk the two great blues venues right here. Mm-hmm. But you also have, I mean, I love the Green Mill up in Uptown because the Green Mill has both. It's got live jazz and it's got a big band on Thursday nights. It's got poetry reading on Sunday nights. So I mean, and that's just up in Uptown, and there's just, I mean, the music venues are just they're legendary, and you can find any kind of music that you might like right here in Lincoln Park, and then throughout the city of Chicago. So I definitely enjoy live music, and then then you have a great live theater here in Chicago. You have live musicals downtown. The big plays that everybody goes to, and at the same time, you've got Steppenwolf Theater right around the corner here on Halsted and North Avenue, or about a little bit north of North Avenue. But you've got the Apollo. There's just so many smaller theaters where you have this live, this opportunity for live theater within walking distance of our own campus. So you got live theater, live music, and great food.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm a coach. I'm not even talking about sports.
Exactly. I'm like, what other experience?
You can walk to Wrigley Field.
Okay.
It's straight up Sheffield Avenue. Sheffield Avenue is, and you hop on the train. The White Sox are really, really playing great baseball this season. And so whether you like the White Sox or whether you like the Cubs, either place is a great place to go watch baseball. And again, you can walk to Wrigley, hop on the L here, and you're at Comiskey Park, or Old Comiskey Park. I don't know what they call it right now, but you can watch the White Sox. The White Sox are 3,500 south, and the Cubs are 3,600 north. So basically, you can watch two great baseball teams here. You've got the Bulls and the Blackhawks on the west side of Chicago. You got the Chicago Sky, who play at Wintrust, the same great arena that our DePaul Blue Demons play at. So, I'm talking about sports. I'm talking about pro sports. And let's not forget Coach Lado's men's basketball team that lines it up all the time down at Wintrust Arena. And our women's team has been nationally ranked over the last few seasons, or last 20 seasons, actually. And so we've got great women's basketball played here on Lincoln Park and in Wintrust. And Coach Lado and his men's team plays almost exclusively at Wintrust, but they have some ball games right here. Jeannie Lenti-Ponsetto is our retiring athletic director. She's done a great job of building this athletic department. Dwayne Peavy is going to take over as our new athletic director. So, it's going to be a good time, a great time here for DePaul athletics. And don't just limit yourself to the basketball programs. Volleyball's played here on campus. We have a great men and women's soccer programs here playing on campus. We have softball playing on campus. Tennis is playing over here in Lincoln, right over here at the Lakeshore Athletic Center. So you can watch men's and women's tennis. So track and field, they run up at Lane Tech. So you have great athletics here as well, right here in our DePaul community.
Wow, there's just so many things, and you kind of spoke to it earlier. How Chicago is kind of the backdrop of DePaul, but I mean DePaul is also part of Chicago, and I think that's important to acknowledge. Of part of your experience here, DePaul is part of the Chicago experience. So attending Wintrust Arena, I remember the first time I went to Wintrust Arena, I went with my father to a basketball game. He's a DePaul alum, and it was amazing just to see the beautiful stage, the arena, to see, the students in the crowd, the student section. It's just an awesome experience, and lots of fun things to do at Wintrust. Outside of just basketball games, there's also other events that students can kind of look forward to.
And Corey, while I was talking about great music here, I'm talking about all the professional music. And who's got a better music school than DePaul? Who's got a better theater school than DePaul? And our own theater is located right at Racine, right in the heart of campus. And our theater students are professionals. You watch DePaul theater students, you watch them on television, you watch them in the movies, you watch them on Broadway. At our music school, you listen to our musicians. When I go up to the Greenbelt and watch I watch live jazz, I'm watching DePaul music students and DePaul music graduates, and they're playing in symphony orchestras all over the world. So, right here on campus, you also have our theater and our music school, which are just right here at your fingertips.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I really enjoyed my time with you, Coach Bruno. I'll ask one wrap-up question is, what's kind of one takeaway you would kind of give to students about their first year experience here at DePaul, and kind of what to expect, and maybe, some words of wisdom for folks out there?
Well, I just think DePaul's a people place. When people ask me we've talked about all these things to do, but what makes DePaul the great place that it is are its people. So, I mean, I would really embrace and almost attack your studies with an enthusiasm. These teachers, we have a 15-to-1 student to teacher ratio here. Most big schools, you've got 600 in the classroom. Well, your professor is going to, coming out of high school, you think it's kind of nerdy or it's not the thing to do to get to know your teachers. But these professors are going to mentor you. They're going to spend time with you. Get to know your professors. They want to spend time with you. They want to be there for you. So get to know your professors and embrace the educational opportunities here. And obviously, the school comes first, but the people of DePaul, I would also recommend let's get to know other kinds of people than ourselves. There's, DePaul has an absolute eclectic student body of people that come from all over this world and all makes and shapes and sizes and ethnic backgrounds, and get to know some of these people that are rubbing shoulders with you. I guess not now during a pandemic, but will be hopefully soon rubbing shoulders with each other again in a few short years, and get to know these people that might look different from you, but basically their head, their heart, their guts, and their soul are all DePaul.
Yeah, that's great advice. Definitely words to the wise. Again, thank you so much, Coach Bruno. I really enjoyed my time spent with you, and I hope the folks that have tuned in to this live stream have taken away some nuggets and really have a deeper understanding of the Chicago experience and what it means to be a Blue Demon. So again, thank you so much, and for being our first guest in the Connecting to Chicago series. So thank you all, and have a good evening.
Thanks for having me, Corey. And again, I've been blessed to go to DePaul. I've been blessed to have DePaul University in my life, my entire life. 5 brothers and sisters also graduated from DePaul.
Awesome. All right, take care.